I love silly concepts in horror movies. The wackier the better. I'll take killer shark movies and anything the asylum throws at the wall any day.
All day, every single day.
Hell, I got excited when I discovered that there was a movie about killer pants. Killer pants! Honestly, what's not to love about that? As much as I love exploitation, there comes a point where you just have to shake your head in defeat. We can only take in so much trash before we have to change the bag.
Garbage day!
With that said, I'm bringing you 3 new reviews that fall into the silly category. These 3 films are ridiculous, violent, and entertaining as hell. The first of which will blow your mind. Without further ado, let's talk about a very Swiss movie called Mad Heidi.
Peaceful Switzerland, beautiful mountains, delicious cheese, and of course, Heidi.
Go, Peter!
I love you, baby girl.
Mad Heidi is the start of a brand new subgenre called swissploitation. This crowdfunded film is centered around everyone's favorite fictional children's character, Heidi, the girl from the Alps we all know and love. This dystopian adaptation follows Heidi, who is now a grown-up brunette, as she is abducted by a brutal government after witnessing the violent death of her boyfriend, Go Peter. Hell-bent on revenge, Heidi fights back against the cheese-fueled machinery of hate, including the mad president of Switzerland himself. Mad Heidi is by far the cheesiest independent movie I've ever seen. And I don't just mean that in terms of quality, I'm talking actual cheese. The cheddar, the goat, the mozzarella. Cheese plays a heavy role in the film, and it seems to be the thing that drives the story.
I love the smell of cheese in the morning.
The first thing you'll notice about the film is just how beautiful it looks. For being a crowdfunded film, Mad Heidi's visuals are absolutely breathtaking. Both the location shots and the action sequences have this visual flair to them, like watching a painting come to life right before your eyes. Now that I think about it, a vacation to Switzerland sounds pretty amazing.
Now, the girl from the Alps is back. With a vengeance.
Mad Heidi is a Grindhouse film at heart, and it plays into every exploitation trope you can think of. It has graphic violence, gratuitous nudity, over-the-top acting, and even some cartoonishly evil villains. This evil regime that takes over Switzerland has zero tolerance for lactose intolerance, and they dish out punishment in the most brutal way. The film also has these propaganda-style short films that warns people about the dangers of lactose intolerance. This government has a hold of the cheese market and uses it to grab its citizens by the balls. If this sounds like quality entertainment to you, then you're in the right place, because these silly elements are used to craft a slice of entertainment that's well worth consuming, unless your bowel movements say otherwise.
Dear citizen, today we shall celebrate Switzerland's new order.
Mad Heidi plays homage to both classic and modern-day exploitation films, most of which you can find in Quentin Tarantino's filmography.
I think it's good cinema.
If you're into movies like From Dusk Till Dawn, Kill Bill, and Grindhouse, then Mad Heidi is the perfect film for you.
This is the cheesiest movie you'll ever see.
Most of the cast you see on screen put on some great performances. Alice Lucy is a more than fitting lead as Heidi. We follow her journey as she overcomes a series of bad events, starting from her home in the Alps into a women's prison. Watching Heidi as she trains to become a fiery badass is one of the highest points of the film, and watching Heidi slice and dice her way through the Swiss military is an absolute blast. Some of the antagonists feel like final bosses that were ripped right out of a video game. Speaking of final bosses, the president of Switzerland, whose face is all over the film, is played by none other than Johnny Rico himself, Casper Van Dien. Casper is without a doubt the best part of this entire movie. Saying that he chews up the scenery would be an understatement. Casper pretty much devours this entire movie, giving an unbalanced yet engaging performance for the ages.
Gentlemen, world domination
What gives these performances strength are the ridiculously over-the-top lines of dialogue. The one-liners that are spoken once an enemy has been vanquished feel straight out of an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Stick around.
If this sounds like your cup of tea, then you're going to love Mad Heidi.
I'm coming for you! You fucking bastard!
While I did enjoy the movie, I will admit that the third and final act does feel a bit rushed. Mad Heidi is a film that's not going to be everyone's favorite. If you can embrace the silliness along with the buckets of blood, then you're going to have fun, regardless of how cartoonish it is. Even if the humor and violence doesn't satisfy your needs, I think you'll at least be able to appreciate the gorgeous locations and set pieces in which this film takes place. Aside from the Tarantino and Grindhouse influences I mentioned earlier, Mad Heidi also has elements you would see in classic kung fu flicks and women in prison movies. It's a melting pot of cinema that proudly wears its inspirations on its sleeve. Needless to say, if you're a fan of Quentin Tarantino's work, then I can't recommend this movie enough. You're bound to have fun, whether it's through the characters, the story, or the graphic blood and gore. Fathom Events will be airing the film for one night only on June 21st. Buy a ticket to ensure your place in what will be a fun, enjoyable popcorn flick. So be sure to do your part and watch Mad Heidi for yourself.